Welcome to Fractured. This is one of our summer specials. We hope watching this short one will encourage you to watch a longer one on the topic.
Then it went very, very fast. So after our team met first people in the forest, I don't really remember the next 3 months. Going there and hiding at night in the forest, carrying big backpack with food and water to bring it to people who are starving. So, not doing anything else than just answering to basic needs of people, doing it in my own country, still hiding from drones and border guards of my own country. That was mind-blowing for all of us. And here we are, 3 years later. The situation didn't change into better at all. People are still coming. Last month, our team met more than 700 people. Met meaning helped more than 700 people. Altogether, we had contact with, I think, right now, 25,000 people.
Jesus Christ. Wow, 25,000.
And you may not know this about Poland, but Poland is not used to any type of refugees, like really almost any. We had some Chechens in the asylum procedure, but this was kind of a shock to the society that even like somebody wants to come to Poland, first of all. But it's like it's a sad reality, but we do not have people of color in the country. They're like, individuals, like you can really point out in each city that there is like one or two person that is not super white, right? So this was something that and it's not only because of that, like Poland was supposed to participate in the relocation process
in
from
2015,
Greece, and Italy, and it was we had a female prime minister at the time. Her name was Kopacz. She signed the deal, and then they lost elections a few months later, and the new government said like, well, no, thank you. It was the previous government, so we didn't take even one person. They were supposed to take
7,000.
It's not even 7,000. So it was very little for the society.
But I understand the hate and the feeling, but to call and say, where do I buy a gun to shoot them? That's just, even for me, that I was prepared for the hate, but I wouldn't be prepared for something like this.
But I very much believe in talking with people. And as long as he is calling and he wants to ask this question, it took a lot of patience of mine to go on with this conversation. I don't think that he changed his mind at the end of the situation, but I was sure that he will call again if he sees somebody. So a lot of people had doubts at that time if it is legal to share with somebody bread or give them something to drink, or people were asking if somebody can put them into the car and drive them to bigger city that they can go to the train station or to the bus station. People had a lot of questions. Fair questions, especially on the east of Poland, in this region. It's a very a very far away place. There is a lot of people moving to this region, people who don't want big cities, people who don't want to meet others. Well, how funny, the whole world came to them. But if you imagine some old lady sitting in her small house, never meeting anybody from outside of her region, and suddenly there is a group of African men coming and knocking at her doors, it's fair point that she might be scared. She might not know what to do. That's why we were running all these educational campaigns. But, Polish government and Polish border guards, they were as fast as us because they were also going from doors to doors, saying a bit different story, saying, if you see anybody, call us. We will come and we will bring them to refugee camps. That was the official narration at the beginning. And you have to know that border guards at that time in this region, they had very high trust of society because most of the people living on the east, they would have a brother, father, uncle between border guards. It was a good job. It was not very difficult because there was nothing happening on this border. I met many border guards who liked it because they like to walk in the forest. They enjoy
The nature.
the nature and the calmness of their work. Well, everything has changed.
I remember people were telling me that there were those posters on people's fences, murem za mundurem, which means like we're standing as a wall behind the uniform, right? So people would put this, and this division between the humanitarians and activists and the army, so-called, started, that it was pretty obvious, like at some point, who's doing what in the area.
At the beginning, local people believed, border guards believed that the way to help refugees is to put them into the car and drive them to refugee center. This was not happening. They were putting them into the car and they were bringing them back to the line of the border and pushing them back. And it was very difficult in the first month to convince people that we activists are not some crazy people telling crazy stories. And then one situation happened when there was a big group with a lot of kids taken to headquarters of the border guards, close to the border, to the yard, fenced yard. But local people and all the activists who arrived, they had a chance to interact with this group through the fence. I don't remember now how many people it was. It was in Michałowo, so-called case of kids from Michałowo. And then media also came. So media were able to make pictures, very touching pictures of a lot of small kids. And few hours later, we got pictures of the same families from behind the fence. And that was a moment when Poland started to believe us, started to believe that it's really happening.
They were all over the news, by the way. It was like non-stop on different televisions, following the fence.
We still don't know what happened with those kids.
Right? Nobody knows.
Until now.
You mentioned the visas, and I read an interview. Foreign Minister Radoslav Sikorski, I hope I'm pronouncing his name right, claimed that in La Gazeta Wyborcza that
Very nice.
All right, cool. 90% of people recently detained while trying to cross the border have Russian visas, and they are sent there from Moscow to Minsk to destabilize the European Union. So what do you say about that?
Of course, what Lukashenko done 3 years ago must have been in cooperation with Russia. There is no way that he does anything in different way. The neighboring countries, Lithuania, Latvia, they were using also some of the diplomatic powers to stop Lukashenko organizing these flights. And they managed. So there is much less flights coming to Minsk, to the capital of Belarus. So the movement moved a little bit more, and people are coming to Moscow. There is, in the last year, probably most of the people are coming from Moscow to Minsk and then to the border. There is also a lot of people who lived in Russia, people of color, people of very different ethnicities, who, when the full-scale war in Ukraine started, decided to come because they didn't want to stay there, but also they were afraid. I met young people, students of medicine on the 4th year of studies in Moscow, who realized that this situation now with Polish-Belarusian border is an opportunity which might not happen again, that they could live in Europe, even if they were aware that 4 years of studies will go for nothing. I had a long conversation with a guy like this in the forest. He said, well, the path started, people were talking about it. It's still not so risky because at the end, even if so many people already died there, if we compare it with any other route to Europe, it's very hard to say, but it's nothing to compare with Mediterranean route. And people are aware, and most of the people are very lucky and they can cross the border super fast. Those who are stuck between the armies, who lose the phone and then they are not able to move forward, they are the ones who at the end contact us and we are helping them. But most of the people cross without any problem until today.
Okay.
we during this podcast, whoever is watching it will see pictures of Karol Grygoru, who was there at the border with you, a great Polish photographer and photojournalist. We will see also some footage from our own Douglas Herman, and so you could imagine more or less how the border looks like. But Anya, can you describe it a little bit, because it is not like an average border, the forests, the density, and so on.
The east of Poland is very wild. There is a lot of huge forests, very dense forests, national parks. There is not many villages all around the border. There is not many roads. People who live there, they need to have a car. There is no other way to communicate there, commute there. I didn't know this region well. I went there maybe with some school trip many years ago. I didn't know how those forests look like. It's not only very dense forest and very big forest, but there are also swamps and rivers. And this is an extremely difficult geography, especially for people who don't expect it. It's very difficult to walk. It's very easy to get into the mud and be stuck. We learned a lot as activists. We had to learn a lot. We had to gain a lot of, scout skills, how to find yourself without any light at night, how to hide, how to go on the ground and hide in the mud. But sometimes when we get the pin, the location of a group in need, it takes 8 hours, 10 hours to get there. And you have to remember that we are with big backpacks full of water or soup or shoes or jackets, super heavy. I'm always surprised, when I take such a backpack on the back and I'm hardly standing, but then with all the adrenaline and all the situation, we are able to run. It's difficult not to hurt yourself in the forest when it's dark. The branches of trees are hitting your eyes. There were some people using the ski glasses because it was helpful. Yeah. How ridiculous, no? Yeah. And all of this to give water to somebody who is dying. All of this.
Is there any dangerous animals in that area? Wolves or bears?
There are animals, they are not really dangerous. Okay. But we heard a lot of stories from people that feel like, fairy tales or some dreams when they wake up and they see the bisons or how is washing?
Moose. Yeah.
There were kids telling us that they've seen giraffes. Of
yeah,
course
in
not.
In the movie I saw. Yeah, when they,